Hey guys, Zangus, and today I'm going to give you a review of the HP Stream 14 laptop. So it's released in September 2014 and it's really come on to be sort of the ultra budget laptop. Now the reason I say this is the fact that it has a really nice aluminium design. It's really light and portable, yet it literally is only less than £200. To compare that to a laptop like the MacBook Air that is around £750 now, it's crazy to think that you can get a laptop that still actually matches up to the performance for most users for a quarter the price. So on the left side of the laptop we have USB 3, HDMI, 3.5mm jack and also a microSD card port. So on the front we don't actually have any ports, we just have the trackpad and the aluminium finish. To be honest, I think they should have just put some ports on the front like the microSD card port and the audio jack port because it just makes it so much easier to access. And lastly for the ports, all we have on the right side are two USB ports and also the power socket. So generally for a low budget laptop, these are really ideal ports that have been included. And then on the top or the lid of the laptop, we just have this brushed aluminium effect again, and of course the HP logo. And of course you'll be able to notice that it's green because this is the green edition, and I had to actually wait a little bit longer to actually get this edition. And I'm really glad they included this edition because it looks really nice. From just looking at the design of this laptop, I really do get a feel of a Apple MacBook Air. I'm not necessarily saying that this design has ripped it off, but I definitely get that feel, especially with the keyboard as well. But overall, I'm really impressed with the design, and the fact that they've actually managed to make this laptop really cheap is really impressive. You'll definitely look at this laptop and you would not think straight away that this laptop was under £200. Personally, I would probably say this is looking at £600 to £700 just for the design. However, while the aluminium finish does look nice, once you start to use it a lot more, you'll definitely be able to see the cracks. And firstly, straight away, it is the trackpad. Now, the trackpad is nice, it's nice and smooth and responsive, but you can definitely tell from the materials that it's very weak and fragile. Not necessarily in that way, but you can definitely tell that once you put any slight pressure on it, you'll definitely be able to tell that it bends quite easy. Having a microSD card port is really useful to upgrade storage, and also USB 3 as well, and I'll get onto that in a minute. So it's a 14-inch HD screen at 1366 by 768. It also has a quad-core AMD CPU at 1GHz, so it's very low power, but it's fairly responsive, and also has 2GB of RAM with 32GB of storage. So of course, having a really low amount of storage has meant that it can be a lot cheaper, and the main problem with this is that it's actually eMMC, and that actually means that it's been soldered to the actual motherboard, and because of that you can't upgrade the RAM or the actual storage. However, you can of course upgrade it other ways by using a microSD card port or of course USB 3. But generally it's still annoying, and it sucks to know that you won't actually be able to upgrade the RAM, but there are some other laptops that are slightly more expensive that will allow you to actually upgrade the RAM, but of course having it at this price means that you just can't upgrade it. Because of that, it actually comes with about 20GB of storage. I've actually done a full unboxing of this, and you'll be able to see that it actually comes with about 20GB, which is actually really disappointing. However, if you're just word processing or doing anything like that, then this is going to be absolutely fine. But if you find that you, say, have a lot of music or a lot of photos, then it's just going to be almost impossible to store all of it. Of course, if you have less than 20GB, that's going to be fine. But even just installing small applications is going to take up a lot of the hard drive storage. But it's still got a lot of connectivity, as it has Bluetooth 4.0 and, as I mentioned before, USB 3 and USB 2. Of course, it has the usual stuff like a decent front-facing camera. It's HD, but to be honest, I wouldn't say it's actually that good at all. HP claimed that it's a True Vision HD webcam, but to be honest, it's not. I've used a lot of webcams before, and quite frankly, this isn't the best. If you find you're going to be using this laptop for just Netflix on its own, then this will probably be completely ideal as a HDMI port, and also has Wi-Fi as well, so you'll be able to stream all of your videos via Netflix. Of course, that includes internet browsing and using YouTube as well, so if you find you're just going to be doing that, then that's going to be perfect. But if you find you're going to be listening to music a lot, watching a lot of movies, then it's going to be more difficult because you'll either have to actually stream it over the internet, or you're going to have to get another storage device. Now, I would highly recommend that you use USB 3 and not a microSD card port. And the main reason for this is that I've actually bought two separate microSD cards previously for this laptop, and when you actually insert the microSD card port, it doesn't actually fully slot in. Okay, so here's the example of the integrated Beats speakers. Okay, as you can tell, the Beats speakers integrated just aren't really that great. Of course, there's always hype from Beats audio technology, and quite frankly, it always turns out to be what it usually is, crap. It's always overpriced, and of course completely overhyped, and it clears just a branding strategy, because people will be attracted to this because Beats are very recognizable, and of course it's just a partnership with HB. But it turns out these speakers just really aren't special. They are loud, which is great, but to be honest, they just have bad clarity and almost terrible bass. And of course that's clearly ironic, as Beats technology has always sort of been recognizable for being really good, for actually having good bass, and quite frankly they just completely fail. I'm not saying they're terrible speakers, but quite frankly, you may actually buy this laptop just knowing that they have Beats audio technology, and it turns out that that actual feature just isn't actually worth it. So moving on to the display, it is HD and it is actually really bright. It's not the brightest and it's not the best, and of course it's not 1080p either, but it is definitely nice, and I think for most uses it's going to be absolutely fine. Viewing any HD content is going to be absolutely fine. Watching movies in HD or photos, or of course YouTube as well, is going to be absolutely perfect. So the battery life on this laptop is actually claimed to be about 6 hours, and to be honest this is actually quite true. I charged it full to 100%, and after about 2.5 hours of just watching one YouTube video on repeat, it drained to 60%, so it's pretty accurate. So considering this laptop actually has a really thin design, having 6 hours battery is actually really good. And I think it's even more impressive knowing that this laptop's just under £200, because not many good laptops actually give good battery life. Of course there are some still small things that you would expect that are kind of annoying, like there's no backlit keyboard. So this laptop really was designed for word processing, and I think this laptop really is ideal for that sort of thing because it's fairly responsive with Windows 8, and also it does have enough memory for other applications like Microsoft Office, and of course it does have the full size keyboard as well. So overall this laptop really is excellent value. It's got decent battery life, it's got a nice screen, it's got an amazing design. Of course it's really portable, it's going to be really ideal for word processing and surfing the web as well. By far the most misleading thing about this laptop really is down to the actual storage, but then again it doesn't matter too much because you can actually upgrade it in many other ways. If I were to rate this laptop, I would probably give it 4.2 out of 5. Anyway, that is my review of this HP laptop. If you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching. Now on the right side we have 2 USB ports, which is really great, and also a port for the power brick. Now then on the other side, or the front, we have absolutely nothing, we just have the lid. And then on the other side we have all the other ports, so HDMI, USB 3.0, a microphone, and also headphone.